Thank you so much. Wow. Good afternoon, everyone. Let's do this. So there's a tradition in the military when there's a change in command where the commanding officer provides a brief overview of the state of the unit, the progress made, and the work still to be done. And the key is brevity. So I'm going to attempt brevity this afternoon. So last year on this stage, I shared my goals for AALU. One, that we would be an indispensable partner for the life insurance professional. Two, that we would make our membership younger and more diverse, entering another growth cycle instead of plateauing the way many organizations do. And third, we would invest in a technology platform that delivers information the way you want to receive it. Well, I'm excited to share that we've made real progress in all three of these areas. And of course, we accomplished this while also dealing with the largest tax bill since 1986. So let me start with the first one, that of being indispensable. Before I talk about being indispensable, though, a few of you have commented that it looks like I dropped a few pounds since last year. Well, you're very observant. I dropped 2 pant sizes, and a few of you want to know what I'm doing. Is it paleo? Is it the zone? Did you give up starches and sugar? Well, the answer is no. It is actually the AALU tax reform diet. Let me explain how it works. You wake up in the morning at 7:30 a.m. to an executive committee call, and you allow Chris Morton and Ken Keyes to explain to you the provisions in the new tax bill that are going to kill you. And then you feel a little nauseous, so you skip breakfast and you head to the office, and you check the news at lunch, and it doesn't help. You work through the afternoon, you stop at the gym to blow off some steam, and then you prepare to read the litany of emails that the AALU team sent you that day. But here's the key, you only have to do it for 59 days. And at the end, you'll get ready to buy some new clothes. But in all seriousness, AALU's effectiveness was on full display this fall while we dealt with tax reform. During the tax reform debate, the work that this membership has done for years led to our effectiveness. As the saying goes, if you don't have a seat at the table, you might be on the menu. Well, we had a seat at the table. And with the threat to many of our businesses and the carrier tax issue, the chips were down. The carrier tax issue, if not corrected, would have fundamentally changed product pricing, and not for the better. The insurance carrier community was facing an effective tax rate exceeding 90% in some cases, if you can imagine that. The deferred compensation and COLI-BOLI markets were in the crosshairs, and the estate planning market was dealt another chapter of uncertainty. And while the ACLI led on the carrier tax issue, AALU provided an important assist. And of course, AALU ran point on the deferred comp and estate tax markets. We didn't get everything we wanted, but we won on the really important issues. The AALU board, the government affairs team led by Chris Morton, and our outside counsel worked around the clock. And that's really not an exaggeration. There were calls nearly every day and on most weekends. Our advocacy efforts were advanced by major Washington players like Ken Keyes and Jeff Raschetti, Josh Holmes, and Dave Tomasi. We had a strategy and we worked our plan, but none of it would have been successful if not for the years of relationship building that many of you have done. During the debate in the House of Representatives, Chief Deputy Whip Congressman Patrick McHenry and I were in daily contact, mostly by text. Patrick understood our issues and was giving me real-time updates on the legislative process and asking for my input. And early on in the process, the news coming back from Patrick was not particularly good. There are many things about Washington, D.C. to be disappointed about, but there are really good people here too. Congressman McHenry is an example of a selfless public servant that wants to get the policy right, and we're lucky to have him as an advocate. The relationship with Congressman McHenry was forged over many years, and it's just one of many that AALU is fortunate to enjoy. I'm going to grab this little prop I brought. Call me an insurance nerd, but this is a copy of the tax expenditure list, which was produced by the Joint Committee on Taxation, and this is the 2015 vintage. This is the actual one that for the first time in over 40 years did not include inside buildup of life insurance cash values and annuity values as a tax expenditure item. You hear about the list. This is actually it. And this is one of the great keepsakes of my time at AALU, and that's why I said I'm an insurance nerd. But it just doesn't get any bigger than that. And this was the result of the hard work of AALU and Ken Keyes, who used to chair that exact Joint Committee on Taxation. Ken went to them and he argued successfully that our products are taxed appropriately. And it's important to note that the one thing we didn't have to defend in tax reform was the basic underpinning of our products, the inside buildup. Talk about being indispensable. You know, it wasn't that long ago that the thought of our products being clear of scrutiny by revenue-hungry legislators was a fantasy. And I'll tell you, we can't let our guard down. Tax and regulatory issues will continue to be in play, unfortunately, and we'll have to remain vigilant. On the second point that I mentioned last year in my address, broadening our base, we made that a high priority. I have a heart for young people in the life insurance business. I used to be a young person in the life insurance business. All of us were at one time. My own son is in the business, and so I'm reliving that experience through watching him in his first 5 years, and I'm thrilled to not be going through that experience again. We all know it's a darn hard business, and it can be a really lonely one. New producers are filled with ambition, but they're also filled with fear. And it's our job to reach down and show that next generation the path forward. The Access program was created for younger members, and it has a low membership cost of just $75 a month. AALU has worked incredibly hard to grow the Access program, and today, 14% of our membership at AALU are millennials. This is so important to the future of the life insurance industry and to the future of AALU. It ensures that our clients will continue to have a voice in Washington long after the voice of many of ours have retired, many of us. But beyond age, the marketplace is changing from a demographics perspective, and AALU is committed to changing with it. At this very meeting, in fact, we have 70 attendees with diverse backgrounds, and they're attending on behalf of their companies through AALU's Diversity Scholarship Program. We're showing that we can adapt, that we have the right mindset, and will continue to have a relevant voice in the financial services conversations on Capitol Hill. Finally, AALU needed a technology platform that matched the quality of our activity on the Hill. Members like you rely on us not only as the hub of industry-leading advocacy initiatives, but also to provide important information and support leading to closing more business and achieving vertical growth. And I couldn't be more excited to report that the new AALU.org will roll out in early June and will provide a totally new experience for us all to access content and engage with one another. This is an important step, but it's only the first step in modernizing our communication strategy. All of AALU's publications, industry articles, videos, infographics, you name it, are going to be available at your fingertips from your mobile device, laptop, desktop, etc. You'll have an online forum to get input from top-level professionals and peers from across the industry. Well, now that we've celebrated some of the last year's achievements, let's look to the future. As you know, after 33 years of leading AALU as our CEO, David Sturzer is moving into an advisory role. David has provided stable leadership for 3 decades, and he's taken this organization from 3 employees and a couple of file cabinets to the organization we are today. It's quite remarkable. David has dedicated his life to the life insurance producer and to this noble industry of ours. David has helped this industry weather 2 major reforms of the tax code. I couldn't be prouder to have worked with him during my time as a member of AALU and on the board, and I'm glad to have his continued input as we move into AALU's next generation. And as we discussed earlier, that next generation is indeed upon us. Mark Caden will become the CEO of AALU in September. And like so many of you, I've had the opportunity to see Mark lead, and he leads with intense purpose. Mark loves AALU, and he loves the life insurance producer. He doesn't see us as just a trade association. He sees us as a defender of an industry that provides financial security to millions of Americans. Mark gets us, and he has our back. He's the right man for the job. How many organizations can say that a leader of over 3 decades in David Sturzer is being succeeded by a leader of nearly 2 decades in Mark Caden? We are very fortunate. Well, to enhance our tradition of great leadership, David Byers will take over as president of the AALU Board of Directors. And those of you who know David know that his intellect and his steady leadership are a rare find. I was very fortunate to have David by my side this past year, particularly this past year. And I'm thrilled that he's taking the helm at this meeting. The future of AALU is in very good hands. And with that said, it's time for me to exit stage left. This has truly been one of the defining years of my life for many reasons. In addition to leading AALU, I'm also a newly minted grandfather to Sophia. And I'm also a father-in-law for the 2nd time now that my youngest Julia has tied the knot just in time to graduate from medical school in a couple of weeks. It's all been a bit overwhelming. And did I mention I'm a new grandfather? Maybe another photo of Sophia, I don't know. They're telling me here it's time to move on. Okay, one more photo. All right. Well, as you can see, it's been a year of great pride. That's the back of a '43 Ford pickup truck. It's been a great year of pride for Corey and me, and I'd be remiss not to honor her. I've been humbled by her support and patience and selflessness during this, shall we say, pardon the pun, taxing year. She's been patient with countless trips to Washington, frequent conference calls, late-night strategy sessions. She's even been there to talk me down a few times when we were really in the thick of it. So thanks, Corey, and I owe you a vacation. I want to thank the AALU board and particularly our executive committee, David Byers, Ray Benning, Chris Foster, as well as the new voice of Jerry Turley, who will become AALU's first female president in 2020. Something that is long overdue. And I want to take a minute and I want to thank John Schlifsky, the CEO of Northwestern Mutual, and Steve Radke, the head of Northwestern Mutual's government relations team. Our work matters very much to them, and their support has been critically important to me. And finally, I'd like to thank the AALU team and council. And I'd like to offer a special thank you to Chris Morton, who deserves all of our appreciation for leading such an effective effort during tax reform. Thank you, Chris Morton. Every day, I'm proud to be a member of the life insurance community, and through this profession have discovered an outstanding group of people who make up AALU. We are so much more than the sum of our parts. It's been my honor to lead this fine organization, and my dedication is even stronger as a result of this experience. Thank you very much for allowing me the privilege of serving as AALU president this year. I hope you have a great meeting. Thank you. Thank you very much. Now I'd like to take a moment and I'd like to honor our retiring board members. These three individuals, Chris Foster, Jason Odell, and John Watson, each have provided invaluable contributions to AALU. Let me tell you a little bit about their efforts. John Watson was the pioneer behind our Value Proposition Project. In the past 3 years, he's helped us invest more in technology, which can be seen through the new website that we're launching next month. Jason Odell has run our professional development committee, and he's taken part on issues committees and was one of the first to help us really refine our content strategy for members. And then there's Chris Foster. Chris has been a part of the board for 9 years now, which is remarkable. There will never be another board member who will be able to say they were on the board for 9 years. And he's seen this organization take on countless challenges head on. Camp draft, DOL fiduciary rule, tax reform, just to name a few. I've never seen anyone put in as many hours towards AALU and advocating for this profession than Chris. We'd be in an entirely different place if not for the battles that Chris has helped us fight. In addition to his commitment to serving the membership, Chris was also the key influencer in growing MassMutual's presence in the membership and deep relationships with vital members of Congress. Chris and John, please join me on the stage. Jason Odell could not be here today. Thank you so much, Chris.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you. John, thank you so much.
Thanks, Rich.
Now, as one of my last duties as president, I'd like to officially call the AALU business meeting to order. We have one business matter to attend to today. According to Article 12 of our bylaws, the nominating committee shall discuss and vote for a candidate for secretary, treasurer, and directors as determined by the board. Everyone has received a list of the nominees for officers and directors and their biographies prior to the meeting, and they're also printed in your program guide. The group was formally approved by the board per the requirements in our bylaws in 2017. Being part of this process, I'd like to comment on what an outstanding job this year's nominating committee has done. And I'd like to begin by thanking them for their service to the organization. Now it's my honor to officially submit the 2018-19 slate of nominees to the membership.
AALU presents the slate of nominees for officers and directors. 2018-19 officers. President, David F. Byers. Immediate past president, Richard A. DeVita. President-elect, Raymond L. Benning. Vice President, Treasurer and Secretary, Jerry L. Turley. 2018-2019 directors. Berkeley Ahrens. Robert Eichler. Ian Freeman. Mike James. Tom Love. Richard Moss. Carl Peterson. Marguerite Rangel. Ron Rubin. Julie Schneider. Chet Schwartz. Richard Van Venskoten. Chip Van Dusen. Russell Vandeveld. And Jim Wagner.
I now call for a motion to approve the nominating committee report and elect the slate as proposed. Is there a second? Second. All in favor, signify your acceptance by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Say no. The ayes have it. Would the new officers and directors please stand and be recognized? Thank you and congratulations to our new AALU board and officers, Mike James, Tom Love, and Marguerite Rangel. Welcome. We're so excited that we have your help to pave the way for AALU in the future. Well, that includes our business meeting, and I declare this session concluded. One of the key foundations of any organization are those individuals who have paved the way before us, and it's now my honor to recognize the past presidents of AALU. Will all the past presidents please stand so we can thank you for your years of service to the life insurance community. The foundation they have built over these last 61 years keeps us on solid ground today and well into the future. Thank you so much for everything you've done for AALU. And now I'd like to take a moment and I'd like to thank the entire program planning committee for putting together the meeting that you're experiencing this week. Carol Jensen and her main platform committee, Lee Harder and her workshop committee, Jordan Greenwald on political programming, and James Joyce on sales have done an exceptional job in bringing this vision to life. Going through the process last year, I can tell you this is no easy lift under the best of circumstances. And you're seeing the best meeting in the industry because of their vision. And a very special thank you goes to Berkeley Ahrens and David Wexler as co-chairs of this committee. Putting this together through the most chaotic environment we've seen in 30 years with tax reform makes this meeting even that much more impressive. So thank you so very much. So with that, I'd now like to turn the podium back over to Berkeley Ahrens. Berkeley?